to a new series which I have dubbed EXCAST, where we here at Empire X will air our thoughts, grievances, and overall just discuss topics that we deem interesting. And today, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about the games industry essentially being screwed by censorship. And you might be asking yourselves, why are we in Dead or Alive 6? Well, it's because it's the one game that SJWs who are seeking censoring seem to hate the most. Which is why we are also taking the liberty of playing as the lowly character, because they seem to also hate that the most. And isn't pissing them off the best thing ever? Yes, I went there. Anyway, well, where else to begin than with the big alpha daddy of censoring themselves in today's day and age, Sony. Oh boy. Alright. For those of you that don't know, for the better part of a year or so now, Sony has been hard-pressed on a warpath to censor everything. Is what I would like to say if it was everything. Unfortunately, it seems to mostly just be games coming out of the Japanese area. You know, those that appeal to the niche anime market, the trash weave games, if you will, that appeal to me and so many others out there as well. For example, we have Super Neptunia RPG. That game is coming out in, well, at the time of this, it's a few days from now. So, yeah, they're censoring the ever-living crap out of it, even though the Steam version and the Nintendo Switch versions are not censored. Again, only the PS4 version. And you might be thinking, well, can't we just import the Japanese or Asian versions? Nope! Sony's taken the liberty of taking control of those areas and censoring the game worldwide. Whenever they censor something, it will be censored everywhere on their console. Yeah, naturally this has got people understandably quite pissed. Aside from Super Neptunia RPG, there are others. Senran Kagura is another series that got hit with the censorship incredibly hard. Now, personally, I don't know much about the Senran Kagura franchise. I never got too invested in it myself, but even I feel the plight of those fans. I don't think what Sony is doing there is correct in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it got so bad that I heard the director of the franchise and creator of Senran Kagura left the company saying he wasn't going to work there if he couldn't make the games he wanted to make, because losing the PlayStation platform was a big blow to the company. And eventually, it probably would have gotten to that point, where instead of taking out a game mode or a couple of costumes here and there, like they did in the latest Senran, they probably would have banned the game entirely from being released on the PlayStation. So, yeah. Senran Kagura fanbase, my heart goes out to all of you. That really sucks. Aside from that, we have another situation of really odd censorship. For those of you who know me... No, not that know me. He's not on this stream. Anyway, for those of you that know me on a personal level, you'll know that my favorite visual novel to date is Dies Irae, A Mente Amore. Well, the company who made that game recently came out with another visual novel called Silverio Trinity. It was supposed to be released last year, but Sony's new censorship policies kept it from coming out, and it was hit with delay after delay after delay. Until finally, on March 28th, it launched for the PlayStation Vita. Exclusively in Japan, but still heavily censored and altered from its original version. Here's the awkward part, though, of this whole story. Silverio Trinity also had a PlayStation 4 version in development. This version did not meet Sony's censorship guidelines, while the Vita version did, even though, according to the company, they presented both versions exactly the same to Sony for approval. So the PS4 version is going to be even more censored for this game if it eventually comes out? That doesn't even make any sense! I don't understand, and I'm trying to. There are other games as well. The Nekopara trilogy, for example, got hit really hard with censorship on here, whereas on the Nintendo consoles, they're not censored. If you haven't heard of Nekopara, they're basically borderline softcore hentai games. There's no way around it. And Nintendo and Steam versions are uncensored, whereas the Sony PlayStation 4 version is censored a lot. Moving on from that, Sony's response to this after receiving numerous petitions and everything else seems to be, well, we want to appease everybody, which is why we are going to censor games worldwide, so that way everyone gets the same game no matter what region you're from, etc., etc. It's complete bullshit, and we know it is. In actuality, they're just bowing down to the woke culture, as it were, which is why with a lot of these games coming out, Super Neptunia RPG, as I mentioned earlier, and the upcoming Data Live Rio Reincarnation, tripped over my own words, a visual novel, I'm going to be purchasing the Steam versions. I advise anyone out there to do the same. I know a few of my friends were also looking forward to the upcoming Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love Through Time, whatever the hell it's called, visual novel. That was announced for PS4, Steam, and Switch as well. I'm going to place a bet that the PS4 version will be altered significantly. So, I advise anyone looking into that first before making their purchase. Moving on to other companies that seem to be bowing down to the woke culture, because Sony aren't the only ones. No. If it were them, it'd be simple. Just stay away from Sony's platform. But other Japanese companies have seemed to have bowed down. The next one is the one I find the least egregious. Bandai Namco. Sword Art Online Alicization is going to be getting a game adaptation soon, and they're censoring the administrator character. Now, at first, without knowing much about it, I was a little frustrated. However, after looking into the character and the design, I can see their stance on this. There wasn't much they could do with the character basically being nude the entire time, and that would be a bit awkward to make it into a boss character in the upcoming game. They would have to do a lot of work around. So, again, Bandai, I understand where you're coming from, even if I don't like it. Moving on from that, we have another company which is kind of guilty of it, I'd say, in a sense. Spike Chunsoft. Yes, the famed creators of the Danganronpa and Zero Escape franchises. As you all know, they recently released their next upcoming... Oh, fuck, I butchered that again! Why? They recently released their newest title, Zenki Zero Last Beginning, on PlayStation 4 and Steam. By the way, we've been Let's Playing that, shameless plugging, you should go check it out. This game in the West was censored in several key areas. They were removing certain CGs, characters, fan service shots were omitted, stuff of that nature, and it wasn't just on the PS4 version, it was on the Steam version too. This is a rated M game, there was no reason to censor it over here. And the fact that it's uncensored in Asia and Japan, which, by the way, anyone who hasn't been watching that Let's Play should know that was the version I imported, because it includes the English dub as well. If it's uncensored across the world in Asia and Japan, yet censored over here, that means it wasn't a Sony decision. It was a decision from Spike Chunsoft themselves. Or... I've seen some people bring up this point when I've discussed this with them. It's possible Sony did force them to make this decision only in the West, because this game does predate Sony taking over, or Sony of America taking over, rather, the Japan and Asian markets over there, the offices. So, that's up for debate whether you want to blame Spike or Sony, but the fact that the Steam version is censored as well is what makes that claim a bit odd. We'll know for certain, I guess, once more of these games come out from Spike Chunsoft, which they have a remake of the first Conception coming out. That will definitely be a real test to see which versions are censored or not. Speaking of Steam, I guess we can segue into them. They're another one that was not censoring anything, and basically proving that on PC, the Master Race does have merit. Sorry, PC owners. You know I love you guys too. Hell, I mean, I'm getting into the PC thing now because of this stupid shit. But it proved their claims were valid, that on the PC, games weren't being touched. That you could play them in their original format and it didn't matter. Until Steam decided to backpedal on that, they made several statements throughout this year that they were going to look into censoring games again and potentially set guidelines. Now, I understand if you don't want to put specific games on there that promote questionable stuff, but if you're just censoring a trash weeb game, as they've been dubbed, no. Steam, fuck off. Leave it alone. No one cares. The only people who care are those that are going to bitch about anything and everything and have no reason to even buy the game in the first place because they've never even heard of it. I heard people went after the game Trap Shrine. Yeah, I know, make jokes in the comments below if you want. Because they said it was offensive to people who cross-dress, and they wanted Steam to pull the game off of its marketplace. No one cares, though. That's the thing. And I'm talking about, like, I've seen people who are like, wait, I cross-dress and I don't give a shit. Why would I care? Like, could you guys stop bitching about stupid shit? If it bothers you that much, then don't play the game. Don't buy the game. That's it. Enough of that side tangent. Hopefully Steam will wake up and realize they can't do that. But we'll see where that goes. Then you have an odd situation with Capcom. Anyone who got Devil May Cry 5 Day 1, which you know all of us here did, yeah, it had a very odd situation where before the Day 1 patch, there was a scene where you got to see the character Trish's bare bottom, if you will. After the Day 1 patch on the PS4 version, it was censored. Only for a patch to come out a couple of weeks later and remove the censorship. I'm not complaining, I just found that a bit odd. The last company, though, I'd like to talk about, though, and this is the one that's honestly the most disappointing, is Atlus. Creators of the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei franchise, these people are actually no stranger to censorship. Go look back at the first Persona game on PS1. The censoring from then is laughably bad. They 4Kids the hell out of that game, and it is glorious. It's kind of remarkable to see how many differences there were between our version and the Japanese versions of P1. Of course, there's the uncut version on the PSP that you can play now, but regardless, I'm getting off topic. Atlus, they're altering the story of the character Erica and Catherine. Minor Catherine spoilers ahead, I suppose. Anyone who's played Catherine knows that Erica is, well, they're a transgender. Atlus thought that this might offend certain people in 2019, so they're altering several situations surrounding this character. Why? No one cared when this game came out almost a decade ago. I don't think anyone's going to care now. In fact, I've even seen several transgender people comment on this saying they don't care and that they're just as frustrated as we are. This isn't the same thing as taking out, you know, a panty shot here or removing a hot spring scene looking at you, Namco, with One Piece. I don't understand why you did that. This is altering, potentially, storyline, and that's not cool. I know I butchered that last sentence. Sure. But altering a game's story from the original intended material or message, just because you're afraid of offending someone. That's going too far. Because at that point, you're basically stepping on the writer's intent. The story that they wanted to tell, you're altering it to fit some agenda simply because you're afraid of a minority of people that screech louder than anyone else does, that aren't even going to buy your product. You're afraid of them instead of leaving the game as is and letting the writers tell the story they want to tell. Atlas, I'm actually really disappointed in you. I don't understand what you're doing. And then Persona 5 the Royal Edition. You released a trailer and footage of the character Kasumi. And of course, the fucking screeching SJWs had to harp on it. Even though they've probably never even heard of Persona before in their lives or don't even care. And what do? You bow down. It makes me not want to support you guys, and that sucks because Catherine and Persona are amazing games. I don't know. And I know some people out there were thinking this was a Sony decision. It wasn't. This one, there is no disputing this claim. This was after Sony took over the Asian and Japanese offices. Sony of America, they took it over. And with Catherine and Persona, over in Japan, they're being left alone. The story beats in Catherine are being left alone. Persona, Kasumi, is being left alone. She's in her uncut outfit. But over here, it's being altered. Only over here in the West. That's not a Sony decision. That's an Atlus decision. And unfortunately, these games don't have the benefit of having their imported versions include the English dub. I don't even think they have English subtitles. Someone will correct me on that. So, it's either buy the game and bow down, or miss out on what would have potentially been a great game because Atlus decided to get woke. Come on, Atlus. I don't mean to harp on it so much, guys. It's just Atlus is one of my favorite companies, and I've seen people point out that they can't believe Atlus are this much of assholes, but to be fair, they kind of were dicks a bit. If you remember the original P5, they threatened to permaban people on Twitch or YouTube if they so much as streamed it day one. And no one listened to them. They're like, bitch, you don't own us. So, I don't know. I think Atlus really needs to rethink their strategy here, because I have seen several people back out of buying Catherine. I even have a friend who said they were going to import Persona 5R and just play it in Japanese. So, I guess that's an option. Go for that if you're able to. Personally, I'm on the fence if I'm going to get either one of them. I'm curious if any of you in the comments are going to buy either Catherine or P5R, or any of these games that are being censored left and right. Please let me know in the comments. I might just wait for a sale, not sure yet. Okay. One last company, and then we'll call this discussion there. NetherRealm Studios. Oh yeah, you knew this one was coming. Okay. Again, for the most part, it was mainly trash weeb games or Japanese-developed titles that were being censored. This is one of the few times it wasn't. Mortal Kombat 11, which, by the way, is considered one of the goriest games on the market, it helped create the ESRB, not MK11, but MK in general. And the game is rated M. Yet, did they really have to cover up every female character just to make a statement? Oh, no, this character, they're not allowed to show their face, but it's okay for you to rip their heart out. Like, okay, that's kind of fucking stupid, NetherRealm. In fact, I have several friends on my list who skipped out on your game for that reason. And At the time, I was like, oh, guys, I don't know. I think I've blown this out of proportion, but I don't think they were now. I guess I underestimated how bad it was, how woke they were trying to make MK11 until I actually played it myself. Gameplay is fine, but the infamy of it getting woke, it does make me almost wish I'd waited on it for a sale. So yes, I'm jealous of you people who potentially are going to get it later. Besides, by that point, maybe the RNG stupidity will be fixed. But alright, I'm sure this isn't the last we're going to see of censorship. It's already impacting our anime community a bit, Sword Art Online. So we'll see where this goes from here. I'm hoping more and more developers actually stand up and fight this. What are you doing? Shoe pop-up? Shoe! Anyway. We can't stand idly by, guys, and actually let them ruin our gaming industry. These fucking SJWs, that's what they do. I mentioned this in several discussion videos from a few years ago with Dead or Alive Extreme 3, how they weren't bringing it to the West because Tecmo said they feared SJW outrage. Guys, don't care. And I don't mean I don't care. I mean, I honestly don't. But I'm saying, like, just stop caring what the SJWs think. They're not going to buy your game. They're going to bitch about your game for a week and then move on to bitch about something else. That's what they do. These people are fucking harpies. The second you give them any attention, well, shit, I just gave them attention by even uploading this in the first place. Damn it! Anyway, guys, hope y'all enjoyed. Definitely more discussion videos like this to come. I've been wanting to do a series like this for a while, and after the Vic Mignogna discussion video I had last month with my good friend NomisWins, shout out to him, definitely more on that coming at a future date, by the way. But I've always been wanting to make a discussion series like this, so hopefully these videos will be more frequent. Hopefully you all enjoyed them. But yeah, leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think of this censoring in gaming. Has it gone too far? Do you even care? Are you still going to get Catherine, Persona 5R, any of these other games being censored? Or are you going to be like me and start switching to Steam and potentially buy a Nintendo Switch? Because Nintendo seem to be the ones that are level-headed in this censoring malarkey over Sony. 2019, am I right? The year where everything is ass backwards and up is down. But yeah, guys. Oh, shit. I'm Elvis X, with your Pirates Gaming Community. I keep boomering it up here at the end. Until next time, everyone. Join us for EXCAST Episode 2. And if you like, please like the video. If you don't like it, then share it with people you hate.